Okay, good evening, everybody. Convent Avenue Gym is the site for junior varsity action here tonight on Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. Mark Carboneau coming your way to do the play-by-play. Brian Mayhew on the camera. And tonight's ball game features the Rutland Red Raiders going up against the Mounties of MSJ. The Raiders coming into this ball game with a record of 14-2, and the Mounties with a record of 7-9. And Coach Tom Carroll, the Mounties, definite improvement from the earlier game we did back on Channel 15 between these two teams, and the junior varsity Raiders having an impressive year thus far with a record of 14-2, coming off a win over Hartford Tuesday night, 93-63, and the Mounties lost the heartbreaker there by 2 points to the Springfield junior varsity team on Tuesday night also. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back here at the Convent Avenue Gym here at Mount St. Joseph Academy for junior varsity action. You're watching Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. Back here at MSJ for junior varsity action. We're waiting for the Mountie junior varsity team to make their appearance on the court. The Raiders, we'll give you the lineup here. Raiders going with Drew Blickarts, Aaron Boynton, Mike Stempeck, Aaron Bailey, and Aaron Carboneau. And we'll get the Mounties here. So you got a couple of players that looks like Camden, number 51, going to be jumping center. Greg Fuller's out there. Another player that I don't have a number for. Fuller gets the tap for the Mounties, and we've got let's see, Pete Tomasi running the point here for the Mounties. He gets it to number 55. We'll get one. There's a shot. It's up and in. And a basket made by Greg Fuller of the Mounties. So Fuller puts the Mounties on the board here, 2-0. Back down the other way, the Raiders coming with Carboneau going into Bailey. Bailey wanted to go inside there to Boynton. It's knocked away. And let's see, we've got Jamie Camden, number 51. Tomasi. Number 10 is Brian Keenan for the Mounties. He's the point guard. He gives it to Fuller, so it's Fuller. And now Tomasi brings it up for the Mounties, guarded by Aaron Carboneau of Rutland. Goes into Camden. And number 55, I gotta get a name for him. That's Popovich. Mike Popovich on the Mounties. Back into Fuller now. Back to Popovich, who puts it up, and it's rebounded by Keenan. Back out to Tomasi now, driving in, and they got a foul. Aaron Carboneau picks up the personal. First quarter action here from Mount St. Joseph, and it's 2-0. The Mounties out in front here. 7:01 left in the first quarter. Keenan will inbound it for MSJ. Brian Keenan, the freshman, throws it in, and Carboneau picks it off for the Raiders. And he gets it to Bailey. Wanted to go to Bailey, knocked out of bounds there by Greg Fuller of the Mounties. And the Raiders will put it in play. Bailey goes to Carboneau now. Going into Boynton in the middle, back to Bailey, and the shot is rebounding. Bailey gets his own rebound, goes to Stempeck now. In the middle to Boynton. Boynton puts it up, and it's good. Aaron Boynton with the bucket. 2-2 with 6:35 left. First quarter of play here from Mount St. Joseph Academy. Tomasi now brings it up for the Mounties, working against Carboneau. Screen there by Popovich. And the ball goes to Popovich. Wants to go inside. It goes to Fuller. Fuller drives in, stops and pops, and it's rebounded by Camden. And Camden puts it up and in. 4-2, and the Mounties on top with 6:02 left. First quarter action here from Convent Avenue Gym. Going to Blickarts underneath. Nice look into Boynton, and Boynton puts the Raiders up on the board. 4-4 now, the Mounties and the Raiders here. 5:48 left. Junior varsity action here tonight from Convent Avenue Gym. Here's Tomasi. Goes to Fuller. Back to Tomasi. Tomasi now into Popovich. Looks inside. He's got Fuller, and he puts it up and in. Greg Fuller and the Mounties are up 6-4, 5:28 left, first quarter action. Carboneau splits and still in the lane. Loses it. Boynton gets the ball. They shove it out to Stempak, who puts it up and in. Mike Stempak gets the roll, and it's 6-6. And the Raiders go with the full court press now. Tomasi bringing the ball up for the Mounties. Drives to the forecourt. Stolen away by Carboneau. Carboneau's down the other end, and Tomasi steals it back. And let's see, Popovich gets it to Fuller now, or Keenan. Keenan will bring it up for the Mounties. Now in to Tomasi, they go inside to Cannon. Dishes it to Keenan. And we got a foul against the Raiders. We'll go against Mike Stempak of Rutland. .444 left. First quarter action. The Mounties and the Raiders here all tied up at 6. Into Popovich now. Goes to Tomasi. Tomasi looking to, now he wants to clear it out here. And almost a 5-second call. He finally gets it to Fuller. Fuller back to Tomasi now. They go inside. It's knocked away by Boynton. Picked up by Pat Dwyer, who's in the ball game. So we got Dwyer, Boynton, Stempak, Blickarts, and Carboneau in there for the Raiders. And they go to Stempak. He drives in. There's a foul on the play, and they're going to get Camden for the personal here for the Mounties. Checking in for the Raiders is Greg Berejeklian, number 51, and Matt Bloomer, number 5. The foul was okay. Let's see. We got Charlie Adams. Is that the number? Charlie Adams in for the Mounties. Stempak's on the line, and the shot. Let's see. Mike will get another one. We're not sure who got the personal there for MSJ. Ball was against. That's right. Cannon got the personal. So back the other way, and it's Greg Fuller now. It's 6-6 here with 4:02 left. First quarter action from Convent Avenue Gym. Down in the middle there to Cannon, and he looks inside to Keenan, who goes to Fuller, but there's a fall underneath. I think this one's going to go against. This will be on Pat Dwyer, number 11 for the Raiders. Thank you, Brian. 3:54 left, first quarter action here. 6-6. We're all knotted up. Mounties and the Raiders. And this will put number 22. That's Greg Fuller on the line for MSJ. And Fuller puts the Mounties up here 7-6. Raiders with 3 team fouls and the Mounties with 1. And let's see, the ball is controlled by Fuller of the Mounties. He gets it over to Tomasi. Tomasi down to Fuller now. Greg Fuller down to Camden. Camden looks inside and he wants to go to Popovich, but he was covered, and we got steps, so we're going back the other way. The Raiders will take it out here with 3:38 left, first quarter action, and the Mounties find themselves up by 1, 7-6. And in the ball game now is Bloomer. We've got Bloomer and Dwyer. Stempak, Dave Paller's in there for Rutland, and also Greg Berejeklian. They go to Berejeklian to Stempak. Mike from outside, and it's rebounded by Paller, who puts it up off the rim. Dwyer puts it up with the follow. Pat Dwyer puts the Raiders on top, 8-7 here, down to 3:12 in the first quarter. Tomasi now for the Mounties. Ooh, there's a screen put on by Popovich. No call on that one, and back we go the other way. Bloomer now to Stempak in the middle to Paller, who puts it up, and he's mauled underneath, and that's going to put. Let's see who we got for the foul here. 55, Popovich with the foul. And checking into the game now for MSJ is number 20, Charlie Adams. And this will put Dave Paller on the line for the Raiders here. 2:53 left. The Raiders up 8-7. Checking in for the Raiders, number 12, that's Jake Conway, and out is Mike Stempak. Paller with the free throw, and it's good. Puts the Raiders up 9-7, 2:53 left. First quarter of play, and the Mounties take it down the other way. Adams now. Works the point here, being hounded by Dwyer of the Raiders, and he went to Tomasi. He loses control, and the Raiders take over. 2:41 first quarter action here from MSJ's Convent Avenue Gym. Junior varsity action, the Raiders and the Mounties. 2:39 left in the first quarter, and the Dwyer now. Dwyer cross court to Conway, sets it up. And the rebound is, Paller puts it up off the glass, doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Berejiklian. Back to Dwyer, the Bloomer sets it up, and that one goes awry, but the Dwyer's there to put it off the glass. Pat Dwyer 4 points in the early going here for the Raiders, and it's 11-7, Rutland on top. 2:10 left in the first quarter of play here. Adams, and they go inside, put up by Keenan, doesn't go, and it's back the other way. Raiders will inbound it here. They've got the lead 11-7, and we got 2 minutes left in the first quarter here. Inside to Berejiklian, and back outside to Conway to Bloomer. Now back to Conway, Jake takes it, and it's off the rim, but Berejiklian rebounds, it goes up, and Dwyer pulls it down, back to Bloomer. Conway goes through the lane, and Berejiklian puts it in. Greg Berejiklian with the bucket, and the Raiders are up 13-7 here. We're down to 1:35 left in the first quarter of action. Tomasi, and Dwyer picks up the foul on him. So Pat Dwyer picks up the personal, and with 1:26 left, the Mounties will inbound it here. 4 team fouls on the Raiders, 2 team fouls on the Mounties here. This is Adams for the Mounties now, working outside. Dwyer's on. There's a steal by Berejiklian, ahead to Conway. Back to Dwyer, and Pat puts it in. Pat Dwyer on the bucket. And Dwyer's got 6 points here in the first quarter. The Mounties, or the Raiders, up 15-7. 1:06 left in the quarter. This is Adams out in front, stealing away, stolen there by Conway, and he puts it off the glass and in. There's that Raider defense coming to life now. 17-7, and the Raiders employ the full court press. This is Fuller now, brings it up for the Mounties, over to Adams. Adams into Tomasi. Tomasi going against Bloomer for the Raiders. To Adams. Charlie Adams drives, stops, and he gets it to Cannon, who puts up the one-hander, no good, and the rebound is controlled by Berejiklian. To Dwyer to Bloomer. Matt Bloomer brings it down for the Raiders. Goes to Paller. Paller to Dwyer. Dwyer dribbles, and he looks across to Conway. Jake's going to take it from out there, and it's off the rim. The rebound controlled by Conway, who puts it to Paller, and he's finally, they get the foul there. Second effort by Paller, and he picks up the see who the foul is going to go against. Number 15 of the Mounties, that's Pete Tomasi. So Tomasi picks up the personal, and this will send Dave Paller to the free throw line. Raiders up 17-7. Paller makes it 18. And Paller hits them both to make it 19-7 Raiders. And back come the Mounties. This is Adams having all kinds of trouble there. There goes the buzzer. That's the end of 1/4 play with the score of the Raiders 19 and the Mounties 7. We'll be back here on Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. Okay, back here at the Common Avenue Gym here at MSJ, and the Raiders have the 19-7 lead here. We get ready for second quarter action. The Raiders going with the, let's see, let's check it out here, make sure it's the same lineup as they had when the first quarter ended. So we got Dwyer, Matt Bloomer, Greg Berejeklian, and Dave Paller, and Jake Conway. And Dwyer's going to take it. Conway will rebound it. Bloomer looked like he wanted to take the shot. Now he drives in the lane and puts it up. And the save by Conway. The Raiders back to Dwyer to Bloomer again, and this one goes tipped away. Conway controls, loses the handle, and it's going to go over to the Mounties there. Brian Keenan inbound it for the Mounties to Tomasi. Tomasi working against Bloomer now, brings it up. Another pick is set. And it's Popovich in the middle there. Now he goes back to Tomasi. Working against Bloomer. Tomasi goes to Adams now. Adams wants to go inside there, looking for help, and he gets Fuller from outside, and he hits it. Got the three-pointer. Greg Fuller with the three-pointer for MSJ, and it's 19-10. And we're down to 7 minutes here in the second quarter of play. And a quick foul out front there. This one here is going to go against Brian Keenan for the Mounties, number 10. Checking in for the Raiders is Greg Sinus, and stepping out here is Greg Berejeklian. So the Raiders going with Dwyer, Bloomer, Sinus, Paller, and Conway. In the middle, Paller goes up, doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Tomasi. Tomasi goes inside, wanted to go inside. Paller knocks it away there. Good play by Dave Paller of the Raiders. And the Raiders now going with, let's see here, Conway, Sinus, Dwyer, Paller, and Bloomer. There's a shot by Tomasi off the glass and in. 19-12, and the Raiders are up by 7 here with 6:37 left to go in the second quarter. Conway going inside, and he puts up the second effort. And cleared away by Fuller of the Mounties now. Fuller, Tomasi, Keenan. We've got Popovich in there, and also Adams. And it goes to Popovich. I think we're going to get him for steps here. He's traveling, going in the lane. It was a good give and go by the Mounties, but unfortunately Popovich traveled, and the Raiders will take over. Back into the game now with Stempek. So we've got Stempek and Dwyer. Conway, Blickarts is in now, and Sinus. Pat Dwyer, a little inside move, and they're going to get Pat for steps. So back the other way we go. 6:07 left second quarter, and the Raiders up 19-12. Brian Keenan inbounds it, goes to Greg Fuller, so it goes back to Keenan. Keenan and Fuller in the backcourt. Keenan goes back to Fuller now. Back to Keenan, and having trouble, picks it up. Goes to Tomasi, he loses control. We go back to the Raiders. Bailey steps back in for Rutland, so we've got Bailey in place of Dwyer. 5:48 left, second quarter. The Raiders up 19-12 here. This is Conway going to Blickarts. Wanted to go inside, doesn't go, and it's taken away there. Now it's retrieved by Tomasi, the Mounties, and he'll bring it up against Stempek of the Raiders. Down to 5:31 here in the second quarter. The Raiders up by 7. Adams working against Bailey now. Let's go to Fuller. Fuller back to Adams. Now they go outside to Tomasi. Tomasi looking for help. And he decides, now he steps it back out, goes to Keenan. Keenan over to Fuller. And we got a foul out front there. Let's see who this one's going to go. Looks like Jake Conway will pick up the, no, wrong number. Greg Sinus picks up the personal. Okay. So Sinus gets the personal for the Raiders, and the Mounties will inbound here with 5:05 left. The Raiders now with 5 team fouls, and the Mounties with 4. The ball goes into Popovich, works it over to Tomasi. Tomasi now back over to Adams. Adams wants to go in the middle there to Keenan, who puts it up and in, and he's fouled on the play. Ryan Keenan puts the Mounties up to 14 here, and it's 19-14. The Raiders by 5, and he's got a chance to make a 3-point play. Back into the game is Carboneau for Conway. Let's see, we got a new member for the Mounties there. Number 23 for the Mounties is Alberico, so he's in there. And Keenan is on the line to shoot the free throw, and it doesn't go, but the rebound is controlled by Carboneau and the Raiders. And with 4:49 left, the Raiders have the ball. They're up by 5. Stempeck wanted to go to Sinus inside. Didn't go, and 4:45 on the clock. And the Mounties will inbound it here. Junior varsity action coming to you from Carboneau Gym here at MSJ. Varsity action will follow tonight. They go to Popovich now, and he's being hounded by Blickarts. Finally pulled down there by Adams of the Mounties. Adams goes to the top, being guarded by Bailey. Now to Keenan. Knocked away by Stempeck to Carboneau, and Aaron Carboneau gets it down to Bailey. Ahead of the pack, puts it off the glass. No basket, but he's fouled. And Tomasi picks up the free throw. 4:15 on the clock, second quarter action, and the Mounties. See who we got. We got a couple of subs here. Let's see. Well, Sinus is stepping out, and into the ball game is Aaron Boynton. This will put Aaron Bailey on the free throw line. 4:15 left. Tomasi picked up the personal. I stand corrected. And that's the 16th or the 15th foul against the Mounties. The Raiders have 6. And Bailey's second shot doesn't go. 20-14. He puts the first one through. So Bailey gets 1 of 2, and the Mounties are back down in business down here. We got Tomasi, and he goes to Adams, who's going to take it from outside, and he didn't get the bounce on that one. Controlled by Blickarts. Blickarts now stepping back, goes to Carboneau. He goes to Bailey. Bailey sets up, goes inside to Boynton, who puts it up and in. Nice move by Aaron Boynton. And it's 22-14 with 3:45 left, second quarter here from MSJ. This is Adams. Adams working against Bailey. Bailey goes around the screen. Popovich has been setting screens all night here for whoever the guard is that brings up the ball for the Mounties. This goes to Alberico. He drives in, but he's going to be called for traveling. And the ball goes back to the Raiders here. 3:25 left. Second quarter of play. Hey, back come the Raiders now, down to 3:20 left in the quarter. This is Carboneau going to Bailey. Bailey had the lane there for a second. He went to Boynton, who puts it up and in. Aaron Boynton gets the bucket for the Raiders, and they're up by 10 here with 3:09 left. Keenan having trouble getting it in. Finally it does, and we got a foul. This one here. This one go against Aaron Bailey of the Raiders. Pretty close to a 5-second call, and they end up calling the foul on Bailey of the Raiders. Let's see, this will send, that's the 7th team foul against the Raiders. The Mounties have 5. And this will put Adams on the free throw line here for the Mounties with 3:04 left. Raiders up by 10, 24-14. Adams, well, he got the bounce. It drops through, and it's 24-15. Second one by Adams goes off, and it's picked up by Boynton, who gets it ahead to Carboneau now. Carboneau bringing it up for the Raiders. And he goes to Stempeck inside to Blickarts. Goes off of one of the Mounties' legs, and it's picked up by Stempeck to Carboneau, who drives the lane, puts up the shot, doesn't go. The rebound controlled by Popovich. pulls it down. He goes to Tomasi. Tomasi brings it up. We're down to 2:38 here in the second quarter. The Raiders up 24-15. Junior varsity action here. This Popovich corrals and it bounces around here. Went off a couple of players. Finally put up by Tomasi, who's fouled on the play. This one here is going to go against Mike Stempeck of the Raiders. That's Mike's second personal here. 24-15, the Raiders out in front with 2:26 left in the second quarter. And the shot doesn't go. It's rebounded by Bailey of the Raiders. Finally gets it ahead to Carboneau now. Carboneau brings it up. We got Carboneau, Bailey, Blickhartz, Boynton, and Stempeck. And Boynton drives in, doesn't get it, but Blickhartz is there with the follow. Tried to save it, didn't go, and it's back in the Mounties' hands here with 2:10 left, second quarter of play. The Raiders up 24-15. Junior varsity action tonight here from Convent Avenue Gym, MSJ. Tomasi driving in against Stempeck. Got Tomasi out there, Popovich, Alberico, Keenan, and Fuller. Keenan now working against Carboneau. Goes to Popovich, looking for help, and almost stolen away there by Bailey of the Raiders. Now it's Fuller in the lane, and basket's good. Let's see who the foul is on here. Makes it 24-17. And against Aaron Bailey, the personal called against Aaron Bailey of the Raiders. So with 1:43 left on the clock, the Raiders up 24-17, and this will put Greg Fuller on the line. Ball's knocked out of bounds, and the ball will stay right down at that end. Keenan wants to inbounds it. He wants to go. It's stolen away by Boynton. Boynton gets it to Carboneau. Carboneau going inside to Blickhartz, who puts it up and in. Drew Blickhartz with the basket for the Raiders, and it's 26-17. The Raiders on top. 1:26 left in the second quarter of play. Shot from way outside, and it's pulled down by Bailey of the Raiders. Goes to Stempeck now. Stempeck gets to Carboneau. Carboneau brings it up and goes inside to Blickhartz, and it goes up and in. Pretty play. Carboneau to Blickhartz. 28-17, 1:03 left. Second quarter action here from Convent Avenue Gym. Keenan's going to set it up and let it fly. And that one doesn't go. It's rebounded by number 13 in there, and he's fouled. It was Lane, number 13 for the Mounties, fouled on the play. Boynton picks up the personal for the Mounties, or for the Raiders, and this will put Lane on the free throw line. 28-17, the Raiders up with 52 seconds left in the second quarter. Lane gets the first one, makes it 28-18. And the second one is good. So Lane gets them both. It's 28-19. The Mounties with about 50 seconds left in the second quarter. Carboneau brings it down for the Raiders. Goes into Stempeck. Stempeck wanted to go inside to Blickhartz, and it's pulled away. Stempeck steals it back. Drives it in, and he's going to be fouled on the play. Coach Carroll wanted a offensive foul call, but nothing doing. It's going to go against Brian Keenan of the Mounties. And the Raiders will inbound it. That's the 16th foul. Team's just about even here. The Raiders have 16 foul, or the Mounties have 6. The Raiders have 7. And we got a foul inside. This should make it the. This will be the 7th team foul against the MSJ. Not sure who. Okay, Tomasi picked up the personal, and that's his third. So Pete's going to take a breather, and into the ball game is number 11 for the Mounties. That's Hart. So Hart's in. Boynton's at the free throw line. 28-19. The Raiders on top. Second quarter action with 36 seconds left. And Boynton puts the first one through. He's got another one coming. Make it 29-19. And he gets them both. So Boynton gets them both and makes it 30-19. The Raiders with 34 seconds left in the second quarter. This is Hart, goes to Popovich now. Goes back outside. This is Greg Fuller for the Mounties. Almost stolen away by Bailey. Goes back to Fuller. Fuller back over to Keenan, and we got a foul, or we got a 3-second call going against MSJ. So the Mounties turn the ball over. The Raiders will take it out here with 16.9 seconds left in the quarter. And the Raiders on top 30-19. Going inside to Blickhardt, who drives in and off the glass and in. Drew Blickhardt makes it good, 32-19. The Raiders. Less than 10 seconds. And Fuller puts it off the glass. He got the three-pointer. Make it 32-22. The Raiders over the Mounties at halftime here. And we'll take a short break and be back for second half action. You're watching 15, Rutland Region Community Television. The Convent Avenue Gym here at MSJ. It's the Raiders and the Mounties. And getting ready here, we're into third quarter action. The Raiders on top, 32-22. This is Pete Tomasi for the Mounties. Goes to Greg Fuller. Picked off by Stempek, who drives in. And Stempek puts it in for the Raiders. Raiders coming with the full court press now. Rutland with the lead, 34-22. Second half of play here, 7:29 left in the third quarter. Ball goes into Keenan, back to Fuller. Now they go to Brian Keenan, having some trouble with the ball, and it's knocked away there by Chris Mayhew, but it's going to be controlled by the Mounties. Raiders going with Mayhew, Boynton, Blickhardt, Dwyer, and Stempek. Start the second half here. Goes to Keenan, over to Popovich, who puts it up, and the rebound is up and in. Like Fuller got the tip in there for the Mounties, and it's 34-24, Rutland on top. 7:05 left, there's a steal, and down the other way comes Fuller. He stops and pops, and he doesn't get the roll. See who comes down with the rebound. The Raiders control. Stempek ahead to Dwyer. Dwyer now back to Mayhew, back to Stempek. Chris Mayhew, pretty pass, and Boynton gets the basket, and he's fouled. That'll make it 36 for the Raiders and 24 for the Mounties, and Boynton will have a chance for a three-point play here. 6:44 left in the quarter. And Aaron Boynton steps to the free throw line here. And the ball is tipped around, controlled by Blickhardt, who puts it in. Blickhardt with the bucket, and it's 38-24, 6:37 left in the third quarter here. The ball is loose there, and it's finally Fuller dribbles the ball on the line there, and it's going to be a Raider ball out of bounds. Pass goes into the middle. It's knocked away and controlled by Keenan, who brings it up here for the Mounties. Goes across to Fuller. Fuller into Tomasi now. Back to Brian Keenan. And Stempek dogging him out there. Finally gets it to Fuller. Back to Tomasi. Tomasi drives. It's knocked away. Picked up by Fuller for the Mounties. Back to Tomasi. Pete Tomasi now doing the work for the Mounties at the point. Now he gets it to Fuller, who lets it fly, and that's off the back of the rim. Controlled by Camden. Back out to Tomasi. Steps up and pops, and it's rebounded. Knocked back to Keenan. Keenan back to Tomasi. Tomasi controls for the Mounties. Now to Keenan. Keenan over to Popovich. Goes inside to Camden. Puts it up off the glass. Doesn't go. Boynton gets the rebound ahead to Mayhew. Chris Mayhew with a pass to Blickarts. Wanted to go inside and he lost control. It goes out of bounds. The Raiders up 38-24 here. Third quarter action, 5:31 here from Convent Avenue Gym at MSJ tonight. This is junior varsity action. Tomasi now at the top, and he gets it to Fuller. Back to Tomasi, being the Raiders in the zone here. Coming inside is Fuller off the glass, doesn't get the roll. Camden though with the rebound. Second effort, and this time he's fouled. See who we got on the personal here for the mound here for the Raiders. It's 21, Aaron Boynton. So Boynton picking up the personal, and that's going to be his third. Boynton with his third personal. Each team one team foul in the quarter so far. And on the line is Jamie Camden here for the Mounties. And he puts the first one through. 38-25. 5:10 left here, third quarter action. Second one by Cannon is scramble for the ball. It's controlled. And now we got a fall on the play. Like Blickarts picked up the personal for the Raiders, so with 5:07 left, the Mounties will inbound it. The Raiders up 38-25 here. Junior varsity action from Convent Avenue Gym and the campus of MSJ tonight. This is Fuller goes to Tomasi now. Tomasi working the point here for MSJ. Rebound pulled down by Blickarts of the Raiders. He gets it ahead to Mayhew. Back to Dwyer, who puts it up and in. And Pat's fouled on the play. Pretty play by the Raiders. And Dwyer gets the bucket, and Pat with a chance to make a three-point play here. 4:48 left in the third quarter. This will the foul going against Cannon. Timeout called, and we'll take a timeout here on Rutland Region Community Television. Back here at the Common Avenue Gym at MSJ, the score 40-25. The Raiders out in front, and Pat Dwyer on the free throw line here. Pat with a chance to make a three-point play, and the Mounties just coming back on the court after a timeout. Pat was fouled by Jamie Cannon of the Mounties. It's Camden's second personal. Both teams at 2 team fouls apiece in the third quarter. Dwyer puts up the free throw, and it's good, and it's 41-25. Three-point play by Dwyer, and the Raiders come with the full court press. Keenan's having trouble, and he gets the 5-second call against him. So the Raiders will inbound it here with 4:48 left. They're up 41-25 over the Mounties. Ball goes into Mayhew. Now we go inside to Blickarts. He goes to the base. He shoves it back outside. This time to Mayhew. Back to Blickarts. Got the second effort and went up. It wouldn't fall, but he gets hacked on the play. Let's see. It's 55, and that's Popovich on the personal, and that's Popovich's third foul of the night. This will put Aaron Boynton on the Raider bench, and back into the lineup is Greg Birajeklian. And Drew Blickarts makes it good, makes it 42-25 now. The Raiders extend the lead here over MSJ with 4:36 left in the third quarter. Second one's also good, and it's 42-25, and checking back in is for the Raiders is Carboneau. Aaron Carboneau back in. We've got Jake Conway in there also. So the Raiders going with Conway, Carboneau, Mayhew, Blickarts, and Birajeklian, and Tomasi breaks the Raider press, gets it inside to Greg Fuller, who stops and pops, and it's good. Fuller with the bucket, 43-27. The Raiders on top with 4:21 left. third quarter action here from Carboneau Gym at MSJ tonight. Inside to Blickarts, and it's good. Blickarts with the basket for the Raiders. 45-27, 4:06 left in the third quarter. The Raiders coming again with the press, and the Mounties break it. This is Keenan now. He goes back to Tomasi. Tomasi outside going against the Carboneau. There's a screen set by Camden, and the shot goes off the mark, and it's rebounded. It'll go out of bounds. It'll be a Raider ball here with 3:51 left. The Raiders up 45-27. Mayhew and Carboneau now in the backcourt for Rutland. Back to Mayhew, and he started to go inside, pulled it back outside. Now to Carboneau. Goes inside to Blickarts, who puts it up, and he's fouled on the play. And Camden with the foul for the Mounties. And that's his third. The Raiders with, let's see, 2 team fouls. The Mounties with 4. And this puts Drew Blickarts back on the line. .339 left in the third quarter of play. Blickarts makes it 46-27. And the second one's good. 47-27, 3:39 left in the third quarter. There's that Raider press again, and this time again the Mounties able to break it here with Keenan coming into the forecourt. Now he goes to back to Tomasi, who puts it up, doesn't get the roll. Blickarts gets the rebound. Ahead to Chris Mayhew. Chris has the ball knocked out of bounds. And the Raiders will inbound it here with Dave Paller checking in for the Raiders. So we've got Conway, Paller, Birjekli, and Mayhew and Carboneau. 3:18 left, third quarter action here from MSJ. The Mounties and the Raiders. The Raiders up 47-27. Over to Carboneau, going to Mayhew now. Chris steps inside the three-point line, lets it go. And the rebound is pulled down by Greg Fuller of MSJ. Fuller now working against Conway. They like to screen there quite a bit, the Mounties. And Fuller is going to take it from outside off the front of the rim, but Keenan controls. Over to Camden, who puts it in. Camden with the bucket for the Mounties, and it's 47-29. Rutland on top here with 2:40 left. Back down the other way, Carboneau to Mayhew. And Chris wanted to go in the middle there. The ball knocked away. It's picked up by Tomasi. Tomasi brings it up now, going into Keenan. Back to Tomasi. Tomasi at the top here, working. And now he goes back to Keenan. Keenan in the lane, he's having trouble. Finally finds Tomasi there. Now to Camden. Camden for the Mounties. 2:09 left, third quarter action. The Raiders on top 47-29. This goes to Keenan now. He goes into the middle to Camden, who puts it up, and it's off the mark. Carboneau with the rebound. Had the wrong Aaron in there. Aaron Carboneau pulls it down for Rutland, brings it up, goes into Conway, who sets it up. Off the mark there for Jake, and back the other way comes Greg Fuller. Fuller of the Mounties bounces it to Tomasi, and it's Pete Tomasi now working out at the top there, and the ball goes to Keenan, who can't control it, and it goes back to the Raiders. The Raiders on top here. They've got the ball out of bounds. It's Chris Mayhew and Aaron Carboneau in the backcourt. We've got Dave Paller, Jake Conway, and Greg Birjekli, and then back in for the Raiders here. Conway now going to Carboneau. Back to Conway. Drives the base, puts up the shot. He hits the floor, and Paller rebounds, and he loses control. Now it's Tomasi. Bounce pass broken up by Mayhew, and Tomasi puts up the shot. And down on the floor there, looks like, let's see. Got a foul against Chris Mayhew. Picks up the personal here for Rutland. And with 1:11 left, the Raiders up 47-29. This will put Pete Tomasi on the free throw line here for MSJ. Shot by Tomasi goes off the back of the rim, and he'll have another try at it here. 1:11 left in the third quarter of play. The Raiders up 47-29. Pete Tomasi on the line here for the Mounties, and the second effort, it goes through, and it's 47-30 now. The Raiders on top. The Raiders going with Carboneau, Mayhew, Stempeck, Paller, and Barajeklian. Third quarter action here from Convent Avenue Gym and MSJ. It's over to Stempeck now, who takes a shot. Tipped around, Barajeklian gets it. Over to Mayhew. Goes inside to Barajeklian, who stops and puts up the shot off the back of the rim, and it's rebounded by Fuller of the Mounties. And Greg Fuller brings it down. 43 seconds left, third quarter action. And Mayhew to Stempeck, pretty play, and it doesn't go, it doesn't get the roll there. Mayhew rebounds it. And this time, let's see, Tomasi pulls the rebound down, but we got a foul called. Foul's going to be on Mike Stempeck. And the Mounties will inbound it here with 32 seconds left. Raiders up 47-30, third quarter action here, junior varsity action. There's Camden going down hard. And Greg Barajeklian is going to get called on this one. A little bit of noise here at the Convent Avenue Gym tonight. So the Mounties will inbound it with 31.9 seconds left. And this one here goes to Adams. Adams going against the Mayhew of the Raiders. Wanted to go to Fuller. He lost control, and the Raiders take over. 23.4 seconds left here in the third quarter of action. Junior varsity action tonight here from Convent Avenue Gym and MSJ. And the Raiders on top 47-30. Chris Mayhew bringing it up now for Rutland. Goes into Stempeck. The Raiders, no doubt, will hold for the last shot here. We're down to 12 seconds now on the clock. Back to Stempeck. Now, let's see, goes to Carboneau. Works it back to Mayhew. Goes to base, to Paller. And scramble for it. Camden gets the ball. Can't get the shot off. After 3 quarters of play, it's the Raiders 47, the Mounties 30. We'll be back here on Channel 15, Rutland Region Community Television. Okay, back at the Convent Avenue Gym here at MSJ. We get ready for the fourth quarter of action. It's junior varsity ball here tonight. 47-30, the Raiders on top. And Rutland going with Carboneau, Mayhew, Stempeck, Barajeklian, and Paller. Mounties going with Tomasi, Adams, Camden, Fuller, and Popovich. This is Mayhew, goes to Carboneau now, who passes to Stempeck. Stempeck back to Carboneau to Chris Mayhew. Mayhew, Mounties in the zone here. They got the 2-1-2 zone. It's Paller back to Stempeck. Back to Carboneau out front. Now back to Mayhew. Raiders ahead, 47-30. Fourth quarter action. We've got varsity action to follow. This is Stempeck back to Carboneau. Bounces now to Mayhew, who sets it up and doesn't go. But Barajeklian's there to rebound for the Raiders. Puts it up and in. Greg Barajeklian with the bucket, and it's 49-30. The Raiders on top, 7:12 left. Fourth quarter action now from MSJ here. Now back for the Mounties is Tomasi, goes to Fuller. Fuller back to Tomasi. Tomasi out in the front, goes to Greg Fuller, who puts it up from way out, and rebounded by Camden. He goes up with a shot off the glass, and it's going to be a Raider ball out of bounds. Well, I thought it was going to be a, boy, they fooled me. It's going to be a Mountie ball out of bounds. Charlie Adams is going to put it in play here. Back into the game for the Raiders now is Matt Bloomer and Pat Dwyer. Adams goes to Camden, back to Adams. Now he goes to Tomasi. Pete Tomasi out there for the Mounties. And he stops at the foul line, and he gets it to Fuller. Fuller now with an opening, knifes his way through, puts it in. The basket's good. And he'll step to the foul line here with a chance to complete the three-point play. The Mounties working the ball around here, going inside, and Fuller gets the bucket. And he's got a chance for a three-point play here. The Raiders are up 49-32 with 6:33 left, fourth quarter action. Greg Fuller, the freshman, puts it up, doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Pat Dwyer, and he's fouled on the play. Let's see who they're going to give this one to. I think it was, let's see, number 55. That's Mike Popovich on the personal. Raiders will inbound it, 6:30 left in the quarter. That's Popovich's fourth foul. The Mounties with 5 team fouls, the Raiders with 6. Back the other side now, Mayhew goes to Dwyer, and they're going to get Pat for steps. Down to 6:23 now left in the game here. 49-32, the Raiders on top, and let's see, Fuller goes long to Adams, covers up, gives it to Cannon. He goes down. They're going to call steps on Jamie Cannon here for MSJ. So the Raiders will inbound it. Down to 6:20 left in the quarter. We've got Dwyer and Mayhew. Let's see, Barry Jekyllion's out. Let's see, we got Dwyer, Mayhew, Boynton, Bloomer, and Blickart's in there for Rutland. This is Dwyer now, back to Bloomer. Bloomer working it outside, goes to Chris Mayhew now. Mayhew, Blickart cuts across the lane. Dwyer throws it up, and it's rebounded by Tomasi for the Mounties. Brings it down, got the lane, goes in off the glass, doesn't go, but Popovich is there to rebound it. And Popovich is going to be fouled. Let's see who this one's going to go against. This one's going to be against Drew Blickart's number 50 for the Raiders, and that's his second personal. Raiders with 7 team fouls, and the Mounties with 5 now. This is Popovich. And he's got another one coming. Raiders on top, 49-32. Makes the second one, 49-33, and back the other way come the Raiders. 5:48 left. Fourth quarter action here from Convent Avenue Gym. Mayhew with the drive, and it goes off the glass and in. Chris Mayhew with the bucket for the Raiders, and it's 51-33, and we're down to 5:35 in the fourth quarter here. This is Tomasi bringing it up for the Mounties. Goes in, wanted to go inside to Cannon and scramble for the ball. Let's see, the possession arrow favors the Mounties this time down. So MSJ will inbound it. And we're down to 5:26 on the clock. 51-33, the Raiders on top. Fuller inbounds it, goes to Popovich. Now they go across to Camden. Camden goes to Adams. Adams and Tomasi in there also for the Mounties. They want to go inside to Popovich. He loses the handle, goes out of bounds, so it'll be a Raider ball. Raiders going with Dwyer, Mayhew, Boynton, Bloomer, and Blickart's. Chris Mayhew now gets it over to Dwyer. Dwyer back to Mayhew. And the Boynton underneath the basket, who puts it up, and no basket. He's called for steps. So with 4:57 left, the Raiders turn it over, and the Mounties will inbound it here. We've got Greg Fuller going to Tomasi. Tomasi brings it up now, working against Bloomer of the Raiders. There's the pick. He bounces off of that one. They go inside, and they got Popovich for steps. And this will turn the ball back to the Raiders now with 4:46 left in the fourth quarter. The Raiders up 51-33. Back the other way now with Mayhew, and he gets slapped here by Tomasi. That's going to be, I know Pete has at least 3. This is going to be his fourth foul. The Mounties with their 6th team foul. The Raiders have 7. And they go inside. The ball is knocked away. The Mounties control here. Down to 4:36 left in the contest here. The Raiders on top, 51-33. There's a screen set by the Mounties, and the Raiders scramble for loose ball out there. It's picked up by Keenan. He gets hacked on the arm. And let's see who they get for this one. Now Blickarts is going to pick up another one here for the Raiders. That's Drew's third personal. The Mounties with 16 fouls. The Raiders now with 7. And this will send Brian Keenan to the line for MSJ. And the freshman misses the first one. He's got another shot coming here though. Keenan gets 1 of 2, and it puts the Mounties up to 34. The Raiders have 51, and then we've got 4:22 left in the fourth quarter. This is Dwyer, goes inside to Blickarts. Wanted to bounce pass it to Boynton. The ball goes out of bounds. Checking in for the Raiders is Greg Sinus, and coming out is Drew Blickarts. Okay, Tomasi brings it up for the Mounties now. We got 4:12 left in the fourth quarter here. Convent Avenue Gym, and the Mounties and the Raiders. The Raiders on top, 51-34. Going inside to Popovich. He goes to Camden. Back out now to Tomasi. Pete Tomasi working against Matt Bloomer of the Raiders. And they go to Fuller now. Greg Fuller goes inside to Popovich, back to Fuller, lets it fly, and it's good. Greg Fuller with the three-pointer for the Mounties, and it's 51-37 now. 3:35 left, fourth quarter action here from MSJ. And down the other end, Pat Dwyer puts it up, no doing, and the rebound is controlled, and they're going to get Camden for steps here. 3:25 left, fourth quarter action. Little discussion on the floor, and the ball is going to be inbounded by the Raiders. Into the Raiders lineup now is Aaron Bailey. So they got Bailey, Sinus, Boynton, Mayhew, and Bloomer. Mayhew, and he wanted to go to Boynton, and the ball is picked up by Greg Fuller of the Mounties. Fuller now looking for some help, goes to Tomasi. Tomasi working out front there against Bloomer of the Raiders. Goes inside to Popovich now. He wanted to go to Keenan, and the ball goes out of bounds. Conway steps in here for the Raiders, and Chris Mayhew checks out. So we've got Conway, Bloomer, Bailey, Boynton, and Greg Sinus for Rutland. Over to Conway, back to Bloomer now. Bloomer over to Bailey. Bailey looks into the middle, goes back to Bloomer, back to Bailey. Down to 2:50 now on the clock. The Raiders up 51-37, and we got a blocking foul going against Popovich of the Mounties. Let's see which. And that's going to be his fifth. So that's Mike's fifth foul. And that should be all for Mike Popovich of MSJ. And into the ball game comes number 23. That's Alberico for the Mounties. Both teams at 17 fouls apiece here. And we've got 2:48 left in the fourth quarter of play. Bailey makes the first one. He's got another one coming here. And Bailey sinks them both. 53-37, the Raiders on top, 2:47 left in the fourth quarter of action here from Convent Avenue Gym. Mounties and the Raiders, varsity action to follow, and back down the other end now. Tomasi throws it up off the glass. The rebound is controlled by Bloomer of the Raiders. Smallest one out there pulls it down, and it goes to Bailey, and they got Aaron Bailey for steps. So this will turn the ball back to the Mounties. 2:29 left, fourth quarter. And the Raiders up 53-37. Back come the Mounties back the other way now with Tomasi. Tomasi goes to Alberico. Alberico into... Now the shot goes up with the cannon to Fuller, who puts it back up again, and it's off the board. Tomasi throws it up. And the Mounties certainly getting their share of shots down at that end. It's finally controlled by the Raiders. Conway doesn't go. And Alberico pulls it down ahead to Cannon now for the Mounties. Back to Fuller. Greg Fuller stops, and he goes to Tomasi. Tomasi outside working against Bloomer. Now to Keenan. Brian Keenan drives, and we got a foul on Jake Conway, the Raiders. A fairly good crowd on hand tonight here. People still filing in for that varsity game to follow this one. Raiders on top, and 53-37 the score. Aaron Boynton checks out for the Raiders, and in for Rutland is number 15, Dave Paller, and at the line, number 10, that's Brian Keenan. And in and out with the shot and the rebound controlled by Paller of the Raiders, and he gets it ahead to Sinus. Sinus, Paller, Bloomer, Bailey, and Conway in for Rutland now. This is Matt Bloomer, goes inside there to Paller, who puts it up, and Greg Sinus is going to be fouled. Time down to 1:32 now, fourth quarter action. And checking in for the Mounties is Hart, number 11. And coming out is Brian Keenan of MSJ. So this puts Sinus at the free throw line. Greg Sinus gets 1 of 2, and it's 54-37. And Tomasi works it down the other end to Fuller, who puts it through. Greg Fuller with the three-pointer. And it's 54-40 now. Nice shot by Fuller. He puts it through the twines and back the other way. Conway had a shot from outside, doesn't go, and it's rebounded by Hart for the Mounties. And we're down to 109 here in the quarter. 54-40, the ball goes inside to Fuller, and he's fouled. We got a blocking foul. Let's see who this one goes against. Like Aaron Bailey picking up the personal for the Raiders, so this will send Greg Fuller to the charity stripe for the Mounties. 54-40, the Raiders up with 1:04 left in the contest. Doesn't go, rebounded by Conway of the Raiders, and he runs into Tomasi, and no call. No harm, no foul, I guess. 59 seconds left, and the Raiders on top, 54-40. Bailey going across to Conway now. To Bloomer, back to Conway, who sets it up. Now they go inside to Paller. And Bloomer, they wanted to take the shot. Now he goes to Bailey, who drives the base. Rejected there by Cannon, and Fuller races down for the Mounties. Puts it up off the glass, doesn't go. Fuller gets his own rebound, sets it up again, and this time it goes off to the side. Fuller rebounds again. Down to 32 seconds. Steal by Conway, races ahead of Tomasi, and he puts it in. Jake Conway with the bucket. And it's 56-40, down to 21 seconds now left in the contest. Mounties now with Tomasi and to Hart. Now we go to Cannon, who puts it up, and it doesn't go. The rebound controlled by Alberico, who puts it up. Pulled down by Paller of the Raiders, and we get a foul on Cannon of MSJ. Raiders on top, 56-40. We've got 2 seconds left. And that's the fourth team foul going against, that's the fourth foul against Cannon of the Mounties. And this will put Dave Paller on the line for Rutland. Both teams now 7 team fouls. And Paller gets the front end. So he gets 1 of 2, and with 2 seconds left, Fuller lets a fly off the glass. And that's the end of this junior varsity game. The final score of the Rutland High Red Raiders 57 and the Mounties from MSJ 40. That's going to do it. We'll be back in action. Stay tuned for the MSJ varsity contest, and we'll be back in action next week. The Raiders close it out with 3 games next week against Springfield, South Burlington, and Mount Anthony. With this victory, the Raider JVs go to 15-2 on the season. We'll see you again. This is Mark Carboneau along with Brian Mayhew on Rutland Region Community Television.